Hi, everybody. This is Jennifer, the owner of Nourishing Journey. And today I want you to get to know Dr. Alice Tsai. So, Dr. Tsai, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your expertise?
Hi, glad to be here today. I'm a medical doctor. I worked in primary care pediatrics for 20 years. In 2019 fall, I opened my own holistic integrative medicine practice, and I opened it to both adults and children. And what I incorporated was just things that I've learned through the years that have become, near and dear to me. So, lifestyle medicine, using food as medicine, environmental factors that influence health, functional medicine principles, which is looking at disease from, what's causing it and trying to find healing that way. I also certified in homeopathy. I have a love for natural healing modalities like herbs, essential oils. I certified in medical cannabis. I also have received a certification through Walsh Research Institute, nutrient therapies that can be helpful, where it studied biochemical imbalances in the brain and nutrient therapies that can be helpful for that. So a variety of different things. So basically, that's what I do now.
Beautiful. So, how did you get into all of this?
So it started. I think life is a learning journey process, and we learn things through our own experiences. So just through my own personal life, what I found was my husband's father. He developed a chronic, debilitating neurological progressive Parkinson-like disease.
Wow.
So ultimately, he has died from that. And then his three brothers also developed similar kind of things, and they all worked in like a tofu factory. And then I just became interested in, well, what causes these things? Because at the time, with the traditional medical system, it was drugs and things that they gave him that didn't really make much of a difference in his course. And then I became interested in, well, what might have caused it? How can we promote health, or is there a way to prevent it? So I started studying along that path, and I really wondered if, because they worked in a tofu factory, and then I started learning about toxins and glyphosate and things like that, and I wondered if toxins had played a role. We'll never really know for sure, but it definitely started me on this journey, influenced me deeply. And then my sister, in 2011, she developed breast cancer. So
Wow.
she was really young. I think she was not even 40, so very young age. And I kind of joined her. Like I was a support for her. I went to her doctor's appointments, through her treatments. And I think that really impacted me deeply as well. And as part of her healing process, I changed a lot. And then as part of her healing process, she transformed, like her nutrition, a lot of her, like there's a lot of stress. She became like a qigong teacher, and she's like
Wow.
my teacher now.
Yeah.
And just so those were the big influences. And then through my practice, over 20 years of seeing, I was a primary care pediatrician. I saw a lot of kids with chronic diseases, just unprecedented, I think. And I think the traditional system, although, integrative medicine encompasses everything. So it encompasses traditional medicine, because I think there's a place for everything. But it can be good for acute things. You might need it if you break a leg and it's bent. You might need to go get that taken
I'm
care of.
one of those, yeah, traditional medical
Yeah.
doctors. Yeah, I agree with that.
But like for chronic things, or these things like cancer, or things that develop over a long time, it's less effective. And I think, I really became interested in studying what creates health. because I think our bodies are designed to be healthy. Like nature, we're miracles. And we can, I think, if we remove the things that are blocking health and we find things that support health. And my love is really lifestyle, and there's science now too, that, things that you do, you're not doomed just because of your genes. Like this runs in my family, cancer, diabetes, but you're not doomed. There's something called epigenetics where your genes are kind of like a recipe, but your lifestyle, toxins, even your emotional stress, like things you do, can influence your expression. They're like the ingredients, and you can create a completely different recipe. So it's an empowering message, I think.
I love that
Like,
analogy. Yeah.
yeah. So then that's kind of what led me here.
Well, who is your ideal client?
Oh, wait, let me go back to your previous question.
Oh, okay.
I didn't finish. It was so what I wanted to say, the other part of it was my patients. I really wanted to say that I was seeing a lot of patients with chronic diseases, and that I felt like, integrating some of these other pieces would help them. And then your question about ideal patient
Yeah, who
is
is your ideal client?
so my ideal patient would be someone who is kind of along the same path, so maybe they're also looking at things, or maybe feeling like a little frustrated, like, this is hurting, but my visit was just like a minute, and they just gave me drugs, and I don't feel really listened to, or I feel like there's something more. Like what? So I think that would be my ideal patient, somebody who is looking into like health, maybe is open to the other part of the integrative. Is I feel like it goes beyond the box, so it like includes traditional medicine, but it's like I found that in my teachings I really was just taught like, oh, look at the symptoms, and then, this is the drug, or this is the procedure to heal it. And really, there are other things that I didn't learn that much about in medical school, like nutrition and gut health is like such a huge one, or
Yeah.
even toxins, or even like the mind body connection. So so integrative to me means you're open to learning those other things. And then also other fields that maybe haven't been studied, like the homeopathy or herbal medicine. And those are also, I'm very scientifically oriented. So there's like a lot of science and information, supporting these like really safe, natural remedies. And so I want to bring that, like scientifically based things that might be out beyond the box, but that are effective.
Beautiful. Well, if you have a patient that comes to you and they start working with you, what do you expect them to start experiencing?
Once a patient starts working with me, I do have a different mentality. Like the traditional mentality is uh, with doctors can be kind of like a authoritarian,
Hmm.
and I don't really. My viewpoint is more. I think doctors docere teach. So what I want to do is, I think we're all on journeys, like life journeys, and we're constantly learning, and we're all like ultimately we're mind, body, spirit. So there's something, and we're also like the other thing with traditional medicine is it tends to compartmentalize people, like break you into little parts. like, oh, you have a heart problem, then you see the cardiologist. You have depression, then it's something with your brain, or your skin, it's just your skin. But we're really so much more complex than that. We're and our systems are interconnected, right? They're not separate. We're interconnected, interrelated. Everything works together really beautifully, but that like things can, break down and block the process. This is a unique person with a complex life history and different factors that may have led them to where they are, and whatever symptom they're trying to find help with. and ultimately, I want to have a different view of pain or whatever you're suffering from. So sometimes that traditional model is trying to cover up things. It's like, oh, you have a pain, you want to take this pain thing. But it's like sometimes I think, not that I want anybody to suffer, I want people to have relief. But it's like sometimes pain is a message. It can be a teacher or a signal that, just like that little check engine light on your car, it's a warning. So it's like whatever you're struggling with, maybe it's something to listen to and something to learn from. And then, but I really want to honor that this is like everybody's different. Like, somebody who's suffering from back pain, it might be a different thing for this person versus this person. It's individual. So you really have to understand the person, what matters to them, what may have contributed to it, and then help them find out a healing process. So it's like from me, what they're going to get is somebody who listens, who I really like to take the time to listen. That was a little bit of my frustration is sometimes that traditional model, you kind of go, 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 you don't have enough time. I really want to take the time, get to know my patients, try to figure out with them, like more partnership of what might be contributing to things, and then find out what's important to them because I think they have their own inner wisdom. So part of this is empowerment. I really want them to feel like they have a big role and
Yeah.
they can take steps. You're not a passive victim, and then work together and brainstorm and then find out what's important to them and then bring my expertise and try to share things that'll help.
I think it's beautiful. Do you have any last words of inspiration for all of your current and future patients?
Oh, I just want to say that, these are hard times. It's been a really, really challenging few years. But, ultimately, I believe in, the human spirit. I believe in, well, I love all things like animals, nature, whatever, but that there's hope. Um, and then even if you're struggling through challenging things, there's so many ways to heal. So it's really, and I don't even know all of them. Like I love learning. I do my best. I've learned all these things, but I don't know everything. But I do have my areas of expertise, which I'm happy to share with. And then Nourishing Journey, all the experts that you're gonna bring, they have all their areas of expertise. So, to touch into that inner wisdom, to really know that these struggles and things that you're going through, that there is hope, and there is a path. So that can bring, so hopefully it is to bring hope to people, to bring a light.
That's perfect.
Okay.
You're so beautiful, and I'm just so thrilled that you joined Nourishing Journey. And I know you joined right before the pandemic hit, and it's been a weird couple of years, but we're just so grateful to have you as a part of the team and to be here with us to help and serve others.
Well, thank you. It was such an interesting timing of joining. It was like I started my practice right before the pandemic. And then thank you because, it was scary, it was a huge process for me to leave, where I was and to springboard into this. And then Nourishing Journey was just such a beautiful place and such a welcoming place and just the perfect place. Thank you, Jennifer, for, all your support. You've been a huge support for me. So thank you,
Well, you're welcome.
so much. And I just want to say, like, think of this as I want to help my patients transform. So it's like, like that lotus, in the muddy water, it comes out and it's beautiful. Or like a phoenix, there's ashes, but you can rise from that. So it's like whatever you're struggling for, I think it's, for our, not that I love struggling or the painful things I've gone through, but I think it's for our growth. And if we just stick with it, and you have hope, you can come out of it better, more beautiful, transformed. And that's what I want for
Yes,
patients too, and for the
yes,
world.
let's do it.
Yay.
Oh, well, thank you, Dr. Tsai.
Well, you're welcome. It was great talking with you.
And if you guys want to experience a more well body, a more transformed experience in this life, definitely contact Dr. Tsai.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.